All right, a lot of background noise here. Sorry, guys. But I'm just showing how you can practice a little bit of fetch in the house if you need to, if that's something you need to do. If you've got a yard, don't do it. Just have inside mean calm. But there are ways you can keep play small and still challenge your dog. So use place as an anchor. We use break and out as the main commands. I'm basically tossing it to him. Let them toss it around. They can chew on it for a bit. You know, you don't always have to go for it, taking the toy right away. Just make sure they celebrate next to you, not away from you. Okay, you guys are probably like, why did he get in trouble there? He's such a good boy. See how he went back for the toy after I said out? So here's the breakdown. The breakdown is I say break before I allow him to get it. Even if he drops it on his own, I say out before I reach for the toy. This has to be the type of command where there is no leeway. And he understands what it means. Like, he's completely aware. So my point is, he absolutely under no circumstances can come back at it when I say OUT. It has to be such a valuable command. It like as valuable as come. Like come and out, and then just a dog being able to rest, like be calm on command, like place or something. That's where it's at. So please just keep that in mind. That is how I train. That is how I challenge dogs. It is very important to have those challenges with your dog, especially when you're practicing hunting in a way that's like a normal fetch that overstimulates most dogs. So it can be fulfilling, but it can be just as problematic if you aren't finding challenges and you have boundaries for the commands that you're doing when your dog is in drive. Oh, and one more side note is I do start with those corrections on leash because it gives more clarity because it's physical. He's a strong dude, but he was able to listen with leash. And then we transition to the off-leash leash, which is Ecollar, and we can have higher accountability if needed in some situations because of a very large, challenging breed. So I'm making it super easy for him right now. He's in place, so that's an easy place and down. I say out, break, toss it, out, break, toss it 3-4 times over and over again. Not hard at all.
Good job.
Then I challenge him a little bit by saying out and then tossing it, and he has to wait to go get it. But obviously he's doing beautifully, right? He didn't screw up at all. So I need to up the challenge. So what does that look like? And I'll show that in a minute. But I'm just giving you an idea. Like, this is what he's good at. This is what he knows. So I just said break, released it right away. But you want to, if this is what your fetch looks like, it's too easy. Your fetch is not helping you at all. In fact, it could be hurting your training big time. So that was a challenge. We changed it to tug. And you saw there, I got him into it. I'm moving my arm around. Then stop moving. Stop moving your arm. I'm going to show that again. Think of it this way. Animal is alive and moving, so you're active, right? Animal's dead, you freeze. And if your dog doesn't let go, that's a problem. And so that was a challenge for him. But honestly, I think the e-collar could have been a little higher if I'd actually wanted to correct him. But that was not a big correction or anything. That was just like a low-level interrupter. You'd know it if I corrected him much bigger. But anyway, I just wanted to make that distinction. Make sure that you're active moving when you want your dog to be tugging, and then you tuck your elbow into your rib cage and you freeze when you want your dog to let go. And honestly, he just does really great from here on out. He got so into the tugging, I, tried one where I just said out and then quick release. Good job, buddy. You did great there. Okay, so another way that you can challenge your dog is actually call them to you, like right there. So if they're really, really anchored to place, like let's say you don't feel like playing tug, and playing tug with him actually is hard because he's so strong. So you may not be able to do that with your dog. That's fine. Do what I just did right there. Instead of letting them anchor and go to place every time, they go to place with their toy. Call them to you. Come, sit down, or come break. Come break, come break, come break, like over and over and over again. And then do the out and see if without that place as an anchor, their stay, because that's what they're doing. If they're outing, they're staying. And they're waiting for permission to get it. Their stay won't be very good. See, without that place. So try it on the floor rather than place. So you can use enough, all done, whatever command you want, to just let the dog know that we're finished right now. Now, you don't want to rush enough. And right there, I was not kicking him. I was just blocking, scratching. Because I used a low-level e-collar. Like, I was holding down at a 5, so he would fully settle down. Because he really struggles with enough. If you see me do this with other videos, I'll use leash and body language to wear the dog down. But with him, he really kind of stays in an excited mode. So I wanted to show instead, when you have a dog like that just will not settle sometimes after playing fetch with them, even if they are legitimately tired. Pressure, there's pressure right there instead of low e-collar. You can always do that. When you work them a little bit and drive-by kiss, when you work them a little bit in let's go. It's best with no distractions, by the way, but he's pretty used to all this going on now. When you work them in let's go and you bring their heart rate down, refocus them after their brain was kind of scattered and overstimulated with fetch, it's super helpful. This is a dog that I would never play normal fetch with. I would always be looking for ways to challenge him so he makes a mistake so I can provide clarity, because he really does just get overstimulated. And instead of calming him, I mean, he'll come home and pass out after I play fetch, in the backyard or at the park. He'll come inside and pass out. But you can tell some dogs, it does the same to my border collie. It just has this effect on the brain where instead of focusing them, calming them down, it actually kind of creates more drive, even if you are finding challenges. So if that's the case, know that about your dog. That was a firm body block because he kept curving around me. But anyway, this let's go work to just slow the dog down, get the dog to be with me rather than thinking about the toy, and then doing duration, crate, something like that. That's a no. See, this gives me an opportunity. That's a no. It's not your heating pad. So it gives me this opportunity to be like, Evie's not yours, the refrigerator's not yours, the trash can's not yours, Evie's toys aren't yours, and they're like, well, the heck am I supposed to do? Calm down next to me and just chill out and just be next to me. So they learn how to be bored without being held back from life, like pulling back on the leash and things like that. I'm trying some off leash here, which I don't normally do with Evie out. So I was just trying to see if he could do it. You could definitely tell it's harder for him. But anyway, guys, just if your dog is amped up after fetch, then you're not finding enough challenges for him. And then even if you think you are, even if you really think that you are finding, there's a bigger correction. Even if you think you are doing that, that might just be their temperament. And so they can't just do a downstay and be fine after. Calm them down a little bit. Put the toy in your pocket. Do some loose leash, let's go work, and then have them settle next to you. And maybe don't ask for a down. Maybe just hold the leash next to you and hang out. And maybe they stand there for 5, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, maybe that's just how it is. But the more you do it, they'll start to lay down. If he gets he'll do circles and get just overwhelmed, and if I tap, he'll try to listen, but then he just default downs, but he's not actually calm. So I'm either gonna pick up the leash if that happens, or I can just step on it where he's got a little slack, but if he takes one step, he's gonna give himself tension. In the beginning though, you're picking up the leash. That way, anywhere he goes, left, right, sideways, you're guiding him, the opposite direction, just with leash pressure. He's pretty used to this. You can also scroll down and do low level holds. Like I'll go to a 1 to show you, and just low level hold with the leash pressure to help speed up them calming down. And you don't tell them what to do except what not to do. Now, please know, in the beginning, I did not let Evie come up to him. I mean, he barked at Evie for a few days when she would make a noise. It was all, the calming work was no distraction. Then I would advocate for him. I would not let Evie come up to him, and he saw that. It would be the same if dogs were running around wild and he was struggling. I would not let the dogs come up to him. I need him to see that I can control my environment. But he does get excited really quickly. And so right there, I was just using low level to make sure that he didn't like continue to feed off of her. And of course he itches, which is common with low levels. And so I just used the leash to snap him out of it. But see, otherwise she could never like do a little cry noise right next to him. And he's like, whatever, no big deal. I mean, so you have to build is my point. And I would not do this all the time with him. He would still get time out solo when she was playing or napping. You know, if I owned him, I would still need to give him calming time with her not around. And that would be so important, or he'd be right back where he was in a few weeks, just jumping at the gun of every little movement, excitement, noise. I wouldn't release him and go back into let's go work when he's focused on a distraction. Chris just came through. But once he relaxes again, accepts boredom, isn't trying to sniff, isn't scratching, just hangs here for 30 seconds to a minute. Or maybe I can only get a few seconds, like whatever that looks like. I just need some boredom. Then I'll release him, do the let's go work, we do it all again. But I'd rather not do it when he's alert in any way, shape, or form, distracting himself with sniffing or scratching or looking at me. He needs to just kind of be like, whatever. And if he's not laying down, that's fine. If he's still standing, he'll be laying down by the end of the 15, minutes of working him. Usually. Maybe not their first couple days doing this, but eventually they get it.